What's up, everybody in YouTube land? Woo! ReggiewithTwoGs! I always wanted to do that. Man, that's one of the perks of having a motorcycle, is being able to get around slow cars. Anyway, guys, I wanted to talk about something that somebody mentioned in a comment that I thought would be great topic. And this comes from my good friend, the Florida Rider. I don't know if that's a good impersonation. I did a video about, you know, asking you guys how'd you end up with your bikes, and I loved all the comments I got from the, hey, this is the bike I wanted, this is the bike I got, and this is the bike I have, to this is the bike I wanted and I got it, to this is the bike I could afford, to hey, I was looking at one bike, some guy bought it. All those comments are awesome and amazing, and it was cool to see where everyone started and came from. But in that video, I made a comment about how I felt it was time to upgrade, and the Florida Rider pointed out that, you know, I should do a video on when did I realize it was time to upgrade. So we will start at the beginning because it makes more sense, and this isn't the backwards episode of Seinfeld for all you 90s guys out there. Alright, just like every young guy filled with testosterone in his blood and veins, I wanted a sport bike. And just like every young guy filled with testosterone in his veins who's married, my wife said, hell no.
Oh, hell no!
Are you crazy? You'll kill yourself. What are you thinking? What the heck? I want to ride with you. You need to get something comfortable for me to sit on. So my girl wanted me to get a cruiser, which was fine. And even to this day, as much as I ride this, I don't feel out of place. I feel like there's a style of bike for every person. That's what's great about our community. That's why I hate people who are judgmental about what kind of bike you ride and putting you in a category about what kind of bike you ride. But what the heck was that noise? Where was I going with this? God, I'm so distracting. Cut this out. But you know, I feel like there was a style of bike for everybody. So when it came time for me to look at bikes, I did the smart thing, like I said in the previous video, and I researched. My girl wanted me to get something big enough for the both of us. I, being Mr. like, oh, I don't want to kill myself because everyone says don't start on a big ass bike, just got sandblasted in the eye. Alright, doing a vlog with one eye open, closed. Okay, oh man. That's why I have a visor and I still get sandblasted. I was like, nope, I need to start on something small. So I narrowed my choices down to a couple bikes. Like I said in the previous video, I ended up with the Honda Shadow. And it was a great bike. You know, if I could find that bike again, I would start a GoFundMe and ask everyone to help me buy it because I don't want to spend my own money on it.
That happened, and we all let it happen.
Alright, I'll cut that out. That was a joke. I would try to get it back. You know, or heck, if I came across another one that was in fairly good shape, that was a good price as a daily rider, I might buy it just to ride it all the time. It was nice, it got really good gas mileage, it was nimble and fast. The issue I had was, as I gained more experience riding and my girl wanted to ride more and more, we got to a point where she didn't want to ride on the back because the bike was too small. It was uncomfortable for her. It really was for her. I've sat on that back seat. I never rode anywhere, but I sat on it. And we looked into different solutions, wider seats and all that, comfier seats, but we decided that, you know, it got to a point where she was like, I'm not riding on it, it's not comfortable. So I was like, all right, well, I have a decision to make. I have enough experience now. She was like, you know, if you really want a sports bike, sell this bike and buy a sport bike. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I want a sports bike, but I want to have something we can both ride on, because you keep emphasizing the fact that you would ride if I had one, and I would ride more if you did. So we made a deal. I told her, I said, hey, let's start looking at bigger bikes. We're gonna go around. I'm not too picky, I'm not brand loyal, you know. at the time, I think the only bike that I really wanted that was a cruiser would have been a Honda VTX 1800. That's the only brand I was really loyal to. I had a Honda. I was like, oh, I'll stick to Honda. It's big, but every VTX 1800 was way overpriced. You got less stuff that you got on this bike. You didn't get bags, and the back seat was literally, I think I did the calculations, was half an inch bigger than the one on my 600. So yeah, I was getting more room for myself, but on the back side I wasn't really helping my wife with her backside. So after not looking at those for a while, we settled on the Nomad. The reason we settled on wanting to look at one of these bikes was a while ago her father was looking for a bike. He actually went and sat on a Nomad at a dealership, and you know, she was there with him. I was at work. She hopped on the back and she was like, man, this is comfortable. So we went and looked at one Nomad. Like, I wanted $4 grand for it. It was a 1500. It was a 99. It only had 30,000 miles. And I was like, oh, this bike is good. Yeah, it's a little beat up, you know, it needs a little work done to paint wise and body wise, but it sounded and ran functionally fine, shifted fine. I rode it around. I was like, this thing is huge. And I came back, and at the time I was waiting for some more funds to come through because we had saved up some money. We had sold the other bike, and I was waiting for a little bit of income tax money to make up the difference. I asked him, because I was supposed to get my income tax money, if he wouldn't mind holding the bike for me if I gave him, I want to say it was like $1,000 advance, and my tax money was supposed to come in 5 days from there. I wanted to get it, but he didn't want to do that, which, you know, I was kind of mad at the time, but I can understand. So we said, screw it. We drove around for a bit. We hit up a couple dealerships, and I ended up at Seminole Power Sports, and we looked. The funny thing was, like, months before, we had went, and my wife and I actually looked at this bike, and she sat on it and confirmed, yeah, this bike is super comfortable. We went back, and this bike was still sitting there. It was more than what we wanted to spend, but it had everything we wanted. It had low miles, it had all the bells and whistles, bags, the whole nine. I did research on it, you know, previously, and knew it was good value for money, the price. So we made the plunge and bought it, and I've had Fiona ever since. You know, and I get compliments all the time about it. She's a little dirty because Daddy doesn't wash you as much as he should, but you know, no one ever asked me this, but I'm sure someone will. How do you know when it's time to upgrade? I think it just happens naturally. You know, you either fall in love. I was told this once. You either get a bike, fall in love with it, and never want to get something else ever again, or you're the type of person who rides a bike, when you're in love with it, sees something else and wants something different. And for me, I bought that bike with the intention of upgrading anyway, so that was just the natural progression of what was going on with that bike. It wasn't anything like I need more power. It was more like I want my wife to be riding with me, and you know, that's the reason why. So I figure I've talked a little bit too much. I think I have a question for you guys, if you made it this far, is how did you know, or when did you know it was time to upgrade? You know, or what made you upgrade to the next bike of your choice, or whatever bike you're on now? Alright, I'll leave you guys alone. Thank you, the Florida Rider, for the great idea for a topic, because Lord knows I get VB a lot, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.